Hey everybody, welcome to a short video about how to use Notepad++ to download and get everything set up on your computer. This is a program we're going to be using to write code, specifically HTML, CSS, and potentially JavaScript code. And it's a pretty straightforward, easy to use program, and since it's free, it does quite a lot for the money. Anyways, so what I did to start, if you search for Notepad++ download, that should take you to the spot where you need to be. This Notepad++ /download is indeed the spot. Currently, it's on 7.7.1. As you're watching this, it very well might be different. The top thing here, it says current version. That's what we're looking for. So as you download this, depending on the operating system you have, you might need to download a 32 or a 64-bit. The one that I have done is just this 32-bit x86. If you just download that and then click through the installer, everything should go nice and easily for you. So when you do that, this is what Notepad++ is going to look like when it opens up. You see the little icon up there. That's what it's going to look like. You'll get just a blank screen. You might get a general text file. Just close it out, and that's going to be fine. Some of the things to do to set this up the way that you need to. It's not necessarily automatically going to come set up the way that you want it, but there's a lot of good options that you can use to make this do more what you need. So up in the Settings tab at the top, the first one to go to is the Preferences. So in Preferences, this is where you have all the different things that you can change. And you can look through these. Most of these are pretty common sense, but I'm going to highlight a couple that I think are important. In Editing, enable Control plus mouse click. This is one that I like. It allows you to edit multiple lines at once. And let me show you what that looks like real quick after you check that. If you have multiple lines in a document, if you hold down that Control button and click on the other lines, what you can do is it'll allow you to have multiple cursors. So you can write multiple lines at a time. So now, assumingly, if you have a lot of HTML you're writing, you can, I just deleted it, my fault. As opposed to writing one tag at a time, you can indeed write multiple tags at one time. Just like that. It is one of my favorite little shortcuts, and I think it saves a lot of time in a lot of cases. So that's what the Control click does in our editing. Some of the other things that I think are important for us, our default language, I'm just going to put that to HTML because most of the time that's what we will be using. You can do default directory, all that stuff, but auto completion is the other one that's important. So all these, most likely if you're just installing this, all these check marks will not be there. You definitely want all of these things checked. So what happens is when it sees a parenthesis, it'll automatically write the second parenthesis. Or in this case, if we're in HTML and we write a tag, it'll automatically put the closing tag. And that, again, is another thing. You may or may not like that. It's something I find to be very helpful, and that's in the preferences for auto completion. I believe all the others are pretty straightforward. I haven't really changed much other stuff in the settings. One spot that I did, though, if you go back up to settings and you go to the style configurator, this is where you can actually go and make your interface look more interesting. So, for example, my favorite, I believe, is Vibrant Ink. So it'll go and it'll change for you to something that looks a little bit more interesting and more, I think, better to read, depending on what you like. So like if you have the attributes, then it'll come up in different colors like that. I find it to be a very helpful thing. I just like it better. The other spot where this is helpful in your style configurator, by the way, you're free to pick whatever style works for you. The global font size is something that I find important. So all these have different fonts and stuff. I don't necessarily want to mess with that. But if you click this global font size and go up to, like, I'm going to go, since we're recording, I'm going to go to 20. It'll make it so you can actually see the code that you're typing. Sorry, I apparently make it so it's much more easy to read on the screen. And I think for our video purpose, this size is probably going to be well. Anyway, so that's a little bit of Notepad++. We should have gone through some of this stuff in class. However, if you missed it, this video should be very helpful to you. As always, if you have any questions, please do let me know.